So more than 300K Australians quitting or leaving Australia as per the Institute of Public Policy Research. That's a staggering number. In the later half of this video, I'm going to discuss 5 passports that you want to have. Rather, you obviously choose your favorite ones, but I'm going to discuss 5 options, alternate passport options. Yes, you might be quitting Australia, and this is applicable to any Western nation, right? US, Canada, Australia, UK, and the list goes on. But let's say you have this strong, solid passport. You're quitting for the obvious reasons. And the reason why I'm making this video is for 2 reasons, 2 main purposes. One is the staggering stats. So many people are leaving means something. You can't ignore that. The second is I'm getting a lot of calls now from Australians who are interested in setting up a residency immediately. So residency is one thing. A lot of Australians prefer certain residencies. I'm going to discuss the top one, the 3, but I'm going to discuss the top residency. It's in the Asias. Residency will give you that residency option in place, but eventually you don't want to be sitting on your home country passport if you're not living there. Yes, you want to hang on to it if you want to, but eventually you want to have an alternate ID, an alternate passport. When you're pairing a residency eventually with your citizenship, that's the combination that really drives a lot of things in future. You don't want to create a combination that can haunt you even if you have quit your home country. The point here is legal stuff, right? You should never, ever do anything illegal. You always follow the law. You set the right combinations, and that's why you want more options, so you have more permutation combinations to work with. Now, the top residency that I always discuss with a lot of my Australian clients is the Indonesian residency. They like places like Jakarta, Bali, very unique advantages. Jakarta is one of my favorite places to set up your partial time, right? The residency option is fairly flexible. All you got to have is a resume, funds, proof of funds, your passport with 3 years at least remaining in validity. The deal over here, the criteria over here is you open up a bank account eventually once you are granted this residency. So the residency actually happens first, and then you have 90 days to go and complete it, which is opening up that bank account, depositing 130K in your bank account. This is not a donation at all. This is a deposit in your own bank account. So a lot of Australians want that, right? They don't want to deposit monies in their home country bank account. And one of the biggest reasons why they are so affected and they're leaving is, to a large part, it's also the tax structure, the ATO. If you look at some of their tonality, right, the way they talk, it's like records. Those are some of the points that the commissioner, the ATO commissioner, recently made a statement. So it's your money, you're paying the taxes, you're paying high taxes, and on top of that, then you got to keep proving and collect all your records, which is a good thing for a lot of people. Some people, it bothers them. That's the last thing they want to deal with. They just are fed up and they want to quit. So if you're one of those people who is really fed up and who wants to quit, then setting up a flexible residency, let's say you're moving your monies from that Australian structure into, let's say, an Indonesian structure in an Indonesian bank, you're getting something in return for that, right? You're not only getting the advantages of what Indonesian banks have to offer, but on top of that, you're getting the residency permit for 5 years. It's one of the best golden visas that you're hidden gems, absolute hidden gem. If you spend even a few days in Indonesia, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's not a Singapore or a Malaysia for a good reason, right? It's slightly different. So it's very entertaining, very interesting. You want a low profile, cheap place to spend a few days, have that getaway. Obviously have your residency, take full benefits of that, all of that, right? So that's the residency, the top residency. The couple of other Asian residencies in that region is the Thai Elite Visa. I don't like it anymore. Just more of a hassle than anything beneficial. And then you also have the Malaysia Sarawak and Sabah and other programs in Malaysia. I personally find them very confusing, chaotic. It's confusing because if you're looking at the Sarawak program and let's say you're buying a real estate, then your flight options to Sarawak aren't as straightforward as Kuala Lumpur, for instance. So that is somewhat of a hassle. It doesn't really work out. Eventually, you might discuss this, but eventually it doesn't work out for a lot of people unless you really want to retire in Sarawak, right? Now, the options for citizenship, I'm going to discuss 5 or 6 passport options where you're actually looking to get a second passport. I'm not going to discuss any of the CBI options, definitely not the 5 Caribbean options. A lot of people want to get away from it. I even made a video about people wanting to renounce. If you have missed that video, you can always return and watch this one. The top on the passport, and these are not in any particular ranking or any order. I'm going to discuss the 5 or 6. The first one that comes to mind immediately is Mexican passport, right? A flexible residency option that you get started with. You initially don't have to put any time towards your citizenship pathway. Eventually, you spend a year and a half, and then you can apply for your Mexican citizenship. It's a great alternate passport to have. Not a residency, okay? You have other solutions for residency. This is purely in terms of the strength of the document, the diversity of the document, and strong alternate ID. So Mexico is a definitely clear, low-hanging fruit in my opinion. The residency is flexible, and then eventually you can get your hands on the Mexican passport. The second one on the list is South Africa. Again, a very flexible option here. You're directly starting off with the permanent residency. The threshold is very low. You're looking at around $6,800 of donation to the government, and you directly get this permanent residency. It's flexible all the way through, just like Mexico, till the end. In your 4th year, between your 4th year and 5th year, if you can spend time in South Africa physically, then you can apply for that South African passport. That's the second option. You have Dominican Republic, almost a free passport after 2 years, right? You can apply for citizenship. All you're looking at is starting a business, investing or diversifying your funds. 200K of capital in Dominican Republic does not hurt, right? It's not a donation. You're not paying anyone anything, just normal lawyer fees and all that kind of stuff, some application fees, but then you're looking at a very interesting passport. That passport has 3 real good countries: Brazil, Japan, Russia. So interesting passport, right? It really complements your Australian or any other Western passport well. So that's an option in that region. Then you have some very interesting options in Latin America. As you have the Brazilian option. Let's say you have a family connection and you have a child. It's a 1-year pathway. A lot of people are very interested in the 1-year pathway to citizenship in Brazil. Let's say you don't have a child, you're not planning to have a child, then it's 3 years on a permanent residency. The permanent residency in certain cases is slightly flexible. Again, this got to be worked out with the attorneys, and we have great attorney coverages in most of these areas that I'm talking about. So you can always click the link, book a call. We can discuss what's the best one and get you started. So Brazil is an interesting passport, very strong passport, a very interesting option from a citizenship perspective. And then you have Argentina. Argentina is particularly interesting now, although it has one big drawback, is that you cannot renounce the citizenship. However, a lot of people, that does not bother them. They don't care about it. They want to get more citizenships. They're not looking to renounce the citizenship anyways. Now, their right-wing president is really looking good here. Won the primary polls, really looking strong. Won the primaries and now all headed to becoming the president of Argentina in future. Now, if that happens, I have a separate video over here. The chances and possibilities of expats flocking to Argentina exponentially increases. A lot of us, right, looking for plan Bs. We are right-wing people. If you are one of those, then Argentina could be a very interesting option in the Latin Americas. And there are other unique circumstances where you can obtain other citizenships. Serbia has something very unique, very exciting going on. This citizenship by exception that some people are able to qualify for. This is not that easy or straightforward. It has to be structured well with an attorney. So let's say you're not looking for a Russian citizenship, but you want something in that region. Then Serbia is a beautiful blend, right? It really gets you that whole Caucasus region and then also gets you some other interesting options outside. So citizenship by exception is just one of the ways, but then you have other developments and rules that are happening within Serbia. The 1-year rule kicks in. Believe it, there'll be a lot of people, ton of people actually flocking all to Serbia to get started. Again, I'm closely tracking and monitoring this with my attorneys in Serbia. So that is something that you can consider. But these are some of the solid, strong second passports. You can work towards 1, 2, many as you want. But it's very important to jump onto one of these. Yes, keep your US, Canada, Australia, whatever it is on one side. You have that option, right, of keeping it, leaving it, whatever. But then you want to have a solid second, third, fourth, or whatever n number of options, as many options as it takes to live a happy life. All right, I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you're always updated on any of the latest developments and changes. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subbed and catch you in the next one.